In the bottom right of the map, we have our purple Protoss player. It is all inspirations Shadver.
In the center left of Catalina Ladder Edition, it is Clanless Mercury, the red Protoss.
So there is actually something of note about the spawn positions on this map, and that is depending on where you are relative to your opponent, either the backside of your main or the front of your main is going to be facing your opponent. And this can make a pretty serious difference in some matchups to how vulnerable you will be to drops. Just because, tendencies for most people is going to be to have their focus on the ramp area whenever they're going for defense of any kind. And it can be easier to forget about this back zone. Not to mention that being a little closer to your opponent and that you have to move all the way up and then over in order to actually respond with a counterattack makes it a little bit nicer for the guy whose ramp happens to be facing his opponent. In this case, Shadver seems to have that positioning. We'll see if that comes into play at all.
Yep, nothing too crazy. Dropping a gateway.
Okay.
One gas apiece. Continuing to probe up. So what do you think Shadver's going to go for this game? He took game 2 with a little mix of Oracle. He pushed in with some Immortals and Zealots.
He was able to get a lot of success out of that. I wouldn't be surprised if we see him use it again in this series. I don't know if he'll necessarily want to go for it this game. I mean, I've said it before, when you get these long series like this, it starts to make sense to go for something a little bit more cheesy. Neither player seems to really want to do that. We're not seeing any proxy anything. We're not seeing cannon rushes or anything like that. So what I expect him to do, honestly, is to go for something a little safer because he wants to grab that advantage. Just what both players right now are looking to be the first person that has the ability to move to that successful victory. And that's this third game may not seem like a lot because it's in the middle of the matchup, but getting that edge is very powerful in all sports of any kind. The point just before the point where you can win is vital. And it looks like this time, Shadver is getting clever.
Yep, dropping a sneaky little pylon up here in the center, top of the map. Mercury not heading that direction. It's going to be moving toward Shadver's main.
Now, with the scout timing that's coming down here, I mean, he's going to come jump in the base, and he's going to immediately ask. Basically, he's going to look at the number of pylons and ask himself if it makes any sense. And it might actually be worthwhile for Shadver to put down another one to kind of disguise this a bit. But the thing is, this is such a late scout that it's actually hard to conclude that much about it, especially with that mothership core being in it. Pretty much just shuts this down immediately. Though this does make him wonder, like, what are you trying to hide? Which is why this mothership core is not going to fly out here. Will it be in time, though? That's another question. Twilight Council's coming down, and Zeditis.
Dark Shrine. It's going to be awesome. Get some DT play in here.
Meanwhile, back home, Mercury's gone for a Twilight Council, and he's grabbing a Forge, which I believe is for upgrades, but will allow him to grab cannons. So the question is whether or not with this scout, he will actually be able to pick up on what's going on. He needs to be careful not to lose this thing, though. And at this rate, he probably will. It has... No, actually, he will be able to use recall on it. Just comes down to whether or not his reflexes are fast enough to do it. He's going to try and escape without it. Oh!
Ooh, whoa.
Did that hit it?
Just before it left.
That's incredible. 4 HP on that thing.
4 HP, shields are kicking back in again. That was very close, but he did
Mercury
save it.
scouted the base, and he sees the and I think he saw basically nothing, which is why he's like, okay, I need a cannon. And this is really good for him. That one cannon should shut this down, unless like 5 DTs walk in.
Yep, this one cannon. Good game sense here on Mercury's part. Shadver dropping another proxy pylon on the left. That's going to move those DTs in that much faster. As the Dark Shrine has just finished.
3 DTs. This can actually kill a cannon. If he basically just depends on whether or not he can get in time to do that. And the attack is already starting back here. So most of the units are not home for this. yeah, really, Shadver just needs to focus down this cannon. And if he does it right, see, the probes are going to be pulled. The probes are not being pulled. And he's right on top of the cannon. He's going to kill it. There's nothing at home to deal with this. Now, basically, Shadver needs to kill his opponent with this push that's going on. He's not even going to try. That's it. Shadver takes game 3. He wanted to avoid the protracted base race.
Yes.
They blame him for that.